Okay, settle in, grab a comfy chair, maybe a nice cup of tea or coffee. We're going to have a good, long chat today. It's about something really important, something that's on a lot of our minds. Retire now or work forever, you decide. That's a big title, isn't it? It sounds like a huge, scary choice. But don't you worry. We're going to break it all down, piece by piece, in a way that's easy to understand. No confusing jargon, no complicated charts, just plain talk, like we're sitting together in your living room. This isn't about me telling you what to do. Oh no, this is about you. It's about helping you think things through, so you can feel good about whatever path you choose for your future. Because that's what it comes down to, right? Feeling good, feeling secure, feeling happy. Let's take a deep breath. Ready? Here we go. Intro music fades in and out, calm, gentle tune. Part 1. What does retirement even mean anymore? You know, when I was younger, retirement seemed like a very specific thing. You worked until a certain age, got a gold watch, and then you stopped working. Maybe you played golf, maybe you gardened, maybe you just relaxed. But times have changed, haven't they? Retirement today can look so different for so many people. It's not just stopping for some, yes, it's about completely stopping work. No more alarm clocks, no more commutes, no more deadlines. Just freedom. It can be a new beginning. For others, retirement isn't an ending, but a chance to start something new. Maybe it's that hobby you never had time for. Maybe it's volunteering for a cause you believe in. Maybe it's spending more quality time with grandkids or traveling to places you've only dreamed of. It can be working differently. Some folks don't want to stop working entirely, but they want to work on their own terms. Maybe part-time, maybe doing something they're truly passionate about, even if it doesn't pay as much. It's personal. The most important thing to remember is that retirement is deeply personal. What your neighbor wants, or what your friend is doing, might not be what you want. And that's perfectly okay. So, when we talk about retiring now, it doesn't just mean one thing. It means figuring out what your version of not working in the traditional way looks like. It's about designing a life that brings you joy and fulfillment in your later years. Think about it for a moment. If you could wave a magic wand, what would your ideal day look like if you weren't tied to a full-time job? Don't worry about the how just yet, just dream a little. That dream is your starting point. Part 2. The Retire Now Dream, Painting a Beautiful Picture. Let's talk about that dream a bit more. What are the good things, the wonderful things, that can come with choosing to retire, perhaps sooner rather than later, if that's what you're leaning towards? Freedom of time, this is a big one. Imagine waking up without an alarm clock. Imagine your days being your own to fill as you please. Want to read a book all morning? Go for it. Want to spend an entire afternoon in the garden? Nobody's stopping you. This freedom can feel like a huge weight lifted off your shoulders. Less stress. For many, work comes with stress. Deadlines, difficult colleagues, long hours, the pressure to perform. Retiring can mean leaving a lot of that stress behind. Think about how much better your health, both physical and mental, could be with less daily pressure. More time for loved ones. Life gets so busy. Sometimes we don't get to spend as much time as we'd like with our spouse, our children, our grandchildren, or our friends. Retirement can open up those precious hours and days. Imagine leisurely breakfasts with your partner, helping out with the grandkids, or taking those trips with friends you've always talked about. Pursuing passions. Is there something you've always wanted to do but never had the time? Learn to paint? Play a musical instrument? Write a book? Join a walking group? Volunteer at the local animal shelter? Retirement gives you the runway to explore these passions and discover new talents. Focusing on health. Without the demands of a job, you might find you have more time and energy to focus on your well-being. More time for exercise, for cooking healthy meals, for getting enough sleep, for those doctor's appointments you've been putting off. Travel and adventure. For many, retirement is a chance to see the world, or even just explore their own country more. Whether it's a big overseas trip or just visiting nearby towns and attractions, the ability to travel without worrying about vacation days is a huge perk. When you think about retiring now, it's not just about not working. It's about all the wonderful things you can do with that newfound freedom. It's about a life filled with more of what matters most to you. It sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Part 3, the work forever reality. Is it a choice or a necessity? Now let's look at the other side of our title. Work forever. That phrase can sound a bit daunting, can it? Like you're stuck on a treadmill with no way off. But it doesn't always have to be that way, and it means different things to different people. Working because you have to, let's be honest, for some folks, working longer, or even indefinitely, isn't really a choice. It's a necessity. Maybe there isn't enough saved up. Maybe unexpected expenses came along. Maybe Social Security or a pension just isn't enough to cover the bills and live comfortably. This is a tough spot to be in, and if this is your reality, it's important to acknowledge it without shame. Many people are in this boat. Working because you want to, then there are people who choose to keep working, even if they don't necessarily need the money as much. Why? Passion for the work, they genuinely love what they do. Their job gives them a sense of purpose, a way to use their skills and experience. Social connection, work can be a big part of our social lives. Colleagues become friends. The workplace provides interaction and a sense of belonging. Staying mentally sharp, for some, the challenges and engagement of work help keep their minds active and agile. A sense of identity. For many years, our jobs can be a big part of who we are. Stepping away from that can feel like losing a piece of yourself. Continuing to work, perhaps in a different way, can help maintain that sense of identity. The downsides of working forever, if it's not by choice. Physical strain. As we get older, some jobs become physically harder. Standing all day, heavy lifting, or even just the daily grind can take a toll. Mental burnout. Even if you once loved your job, doing it for too long, especially if you feel trapped, can lead to burnout and unhappiness. Missing out. If you're working all the time out of necessity, you might feel like you're missing out on those golden years, on time with family, on pursuing hobbies. Health concerns. Pushing yourself too hard for too long can impact your health. Stress, fatigue, and lack of time for self-care can add up. So, working forever isn't just one thing. It can be a fulfilling choice for some, driven by passion and purpose. But for others, it can feel like a burden, a necessity that limits their freedom and enjoyment of life. Understanding why someone might be on this path is key. Part 4, the big question: why do we even need to decide? Okay, so we've talked about the dream of retiring and the realities of working longer. But why is this decision so important? Why can't we just let things happen as they may? Well, we could. But I believe that taking some time to think about this, to consciously consider your options, gives you something incredibly valuable: control. Taking control of your future. Life is full of surprises, that's for sure. But when it comes to something as significant as how you'll spend your later years, having a bit of a plan, even a loose one, can make a world of difference. It means you're not just drifting, you're steering. Avoiding being forced. If you don't think about retirement, you might find yourself in a situation where the decision is made for you. Maybe it's a health issue that suddenly stops you from working. Maybe it's a layoff. Maybe you just wake up one day and realize you can't keep going, but you haven't prepared. Thinking ahead helps you avoid being backed into a corner. Peace of mind, knowing you've thought about your options, even if you haven't figured out all the details, can bring a great deal of peace. Worrying about the future can be stressful. Planning, even a little, can reduce that anxiety. Making your dreams possible. Remember those retirement dreams we talked about? Whether it's traveling, spending time with grandkids, or learning to play the guitar, those dreams are more likely to come true if you plan for them. A dream without a plan is just a wish. It's about your well-being. This decision impacts your financial health, yes, but also your physical health, your mental health, and your overall happiness. Giving it the attention it deserves is an act of self-care. You see, this isn't about creating a rigid, set-in-stone plan that you can never change. Life doesn't work that way. It's about being intentional. It's about saying, "This is my life, and I want to have a say in how the next chapter unfolds." By thinking about retire now or work forever, you're not just pondering a question, you're empowering yourself to make choices that lead to a future you genuinely look forward to. Part 5. Thinking about your money without scary numbers. Alright, let's talk about the elephant in the room for many people when they think about retirement: money. For some, this is the main reason they feel they have to work forever. Now, I promise we wouldn't get bogged down in lots of numbers, and I mean it. But we do need to think about money in a general way. What do you need? Think about your basic living expenses. What does it cost you to live each month right now? Things like housing, rent, mortgage, property taxes, insurance, food, utilities, electricity, water, gas, phone, internet, transportation, car payments, gas, insurance, public transport, healthcare, insurance premiums, medications, doctor visits. This one is important to think about for the future too. These are the must-haves. You need to have enough to cover these comfortably. What do you want? Beyond the basics, what makes life enjoyable for you? Travel? Hobbies that cost a little money? Eating out sometimes? Gifts for grandkids? Being able to help your children occasionally? These are the nice-to-haves. Having some room in your budget for these can make retirement much more fulfilling. Making your savings last. This is the big one. If you have some savings, how do you make sure they last for as long as you need them? This is where thinking about how much you spend each month comes in handy. The idea is to have enough put away so that, along with other income, like Social Security or a pension, you can cover your needs and some of your wants without running out too soon. Where does retirement money come from? Social Security. For many Americans, this is a key piece of the puzzle. It's important to understand when you can start taking it and how that choice affects the amount you get. You can find good, simple information on the Social Security Administration's website. Pensions. Some folks are lucky enough to have a pension from their work. This provides a regular income in retirement. If you have one, make sure you understand how it works. Savings and investments. This is things like a 401k or an IRA, or other savings you've put aside over the years. The idea here is that this money has hopefully grown a bit over time. Working part-time. If you choose, some people plan to work part-time in retirement to bring in a little extra money and stay active. Home equity. For some homeowners, their house is a significant asset. Some people choose to downsize to a smaller, less expensive home to free up some money. Little ways to think about saving more, even now. It's never too late to look at your spending and see if there are small changes you can make. Maybe it's cutting back on one thing to save for another. Every little bit can help build a bit more of a cushion. Don't be afraid to ask for simple advice. Sometimes, talking to a trusted financial advisor who understands your desire for simple, clear explanations can be helpful. Look for someone who will listen and not just throw numbers at you. Many community centers or nonprofits offer free or low-cost financial counseling for seniors. The main idea here is to get a gentle handle on your money situation. Not to be scared by it, but to understand it. Knowing where you stand financially is a really important step in deciding when, or if, you can retire comfortably. It's about feeling secure, not stressed. Part 6. More than just money, what else makes a happy retirement? We've talked a lot about money, and it's important, no doubt. But a happy, fulfilling retirement is about so much more than just having enough cash in the bank. If you're thinking about the retire now path, or even just reducing work, what else should be on your mind? Your health, your wealth. This is probably the most important thing. Without good health, it's hard to enjoy anything else. Staying active. This doesn't mean you have to run marathons. Gentle walking, gardening, swimming, dancing, yoga, Find something you enjoy that keeps your body moving. It's good for your heart, your joints, your mood, everything. Eating well, good food is good medicine. Focusing on fresh fruits, vegetables, lean protein, and whole grains can make a huge difference in how you feel. Regular checkups, keep up with your doctor, dentist, and eye doctor. Catching any little problems early is always best. Mental well-being, don't forget your mental health. Stay connected, keep learning, and don't be afraid to ask for help if you're feeling down or anxious. Finding purpose and meaning. For many years, our jobs give us a sense of purpose. When that goes away, it can leave a bit of a hole. New hobbies and interests. This is your chance. That thing you always wanted to learn. Do it. Join a club, take a class. It's amazing how fulfilling a new passion can be. Volunteering, giving your time to a cause you care about, is incredibly rewarding. It helps others, and it makes you feel good too. So many organizations need volunteers: schools, hospitals, animal shelters, food banks, libraries. Mentoring, you have a lifetime of experience and wisdom. Sharing that with younger people can be very meaningful. Lifelong learning, keep your brain active. Take a course at the local community college, many offer discounts for seniors. Learn a new language online, join a book club. Social connections, staying in touch. Loneliness can be a real problem as we get older, especially if we're no longer going to work every day. Nurture your relationships, make time for family and friends. Plan regular get-togethers, even if it's just a phone call or a coffee. Join groups, senior centers, hobby clubs, church groups, community organizations. These are great places to meet new people who share your interests. Embrace technology, a little. Video calls with grandkids, email, social media, if you like it, can help you stay connected, especially with loved ones who live far away. A comfortable and safe home. Where you live matters a lot in retirement. Is your current home suitable? As we age, things like stairs can become more difficult. Does your home need any modifications to make it safer and more comfortable? Downsizing? Many people choose to move to a smaller home that's easier to manage and less expensive to maintain. Community. Do you live in a place where you feel connected? Are there amenities and services nearby that you might need? You see, planning for retirement isn't just about a financial plan. It's about a life plan. It's about thinking holistically about what will make you happy, healthy, and engaged in the years to come. Money helps, but these other things are the real heart of a joyful retirement. Part 7. Taking small steps. It's never too late to start thinking. Now, all this talk about planning and deciding might feel a bit overwhelming. Especially if you feel like you haven't done much yet, or if retirement feels very far away, or very close and you're not ready. But here's the good news: it's never too late to start thinking and taking small steps. You don't have to figure everything out today. Just starting the process is a victory. So, what are some simple, gentle first steps you can take, no matter where you are in your journey? Just dream a little, again. Get a piece of paper and a pen. Or just sit quietly. Ask yourself, if I had more free time, what would I really love to do? Write down anything that comes to mind. No judgment. Big things, small things. Travel? Learn to bake bread? Spend more time with your sister? Volunteer at the library? Read all those books piled up. This isn't about what's practical yet, just about what would bring you joy. Talk to someone you trust. If you have a spouse or partner, this is a great conversation to have together. What are your shared dreams? What are your individual ones? Talk to a close friend who is retired or thinking about it. What have they learned? Sometimes just saying your thoughts out loud can make them clearer. Take a simple look at your spending. You don't need a complicated budget. Just for a week or two, try to get a rough idea of where your money goes. Are there any surprises? Any areas where you think, maybe I could cut back a little there if I needed to? This isn't about depriving yourself, it's about understanding. Learn one new thing about your potential retirement income. If you're going to get Social Security, maybe spend 15 minutes on their website, ssa.gov, just looking around. They have planners and simple explanations. If you have a 401k or pension statement, just read it. Don't worry if you don't understand everything, just get familiar with it. One small piece of information is a good start. Think about one small health improvement. Could you add a 10-minute walk to your day? Could you try one new healthy recipe this week? Could you make that doctor's appointment you've been putting off? Small changes add up to big results for your health. Explore one potential hobby or interest. Check out your local library or community center's website. Do they have any classes or groups that sound interesting? Look up a YouTube video on how to do something you've always been curious about: gardening, knitting, birdwatching. Just dip your toe in. Write down one worry and one hope. What's one thing that worries you about retirement or working longer? What's one thing that makes you hopeful or excited? Acknowledging both can be very powerful. See? None of these are huge, scary tasks. They are small, manageable steps. The most important thing is to simply begin. Each small step builds momentum. Each little bit of clarity helps you feel more in control and less anxious about the future. You don't have to tackle retire now or work forever all at once. Just take one little bite today. Part 8: Overcoming Worries, Common Fears and How to Face Them. Whenever we think about big life changes, like retirement, it's natural for worries and fears to creep in. That's just human nature. Ignoring them doesn't make them go away. So, let's talk about some common fears and how we can gently face them. Fear. I haven't saved enough. I'll never be able to retire. Facing it, this is a very common fear. First, remember what we talked about regarding looking at your needs versus wants. Sometimes, we can live comfortably on less than we think, especially if we make some adjustments. Explore all potential income sources, Social Security, and when is best to take it for you, any small pensions, part-time work doing something you enjoy. Consider lifestyle changes. Could downsizing your home make a difference? Could moving to a less expensive area be an option? It's not always an all-or-nothing situation. Maybe full retirement isn't possible right now, but semi-retirement with part-time work is. The key is to get a realistic picture, not just let the fear paralyze you. Fear. I'll be bored. What will I do all day? Facing it. This is especially true if your work has been a huge part of your life. This is where that dream list we talked about comes in. All those hobbies, interests, volunteer ideas. Structure can be good. You don't need a minute-by-minute schedule, but having a few regular activities, a weekly class, a volunteer gig, a regular coffee with friends can help. Remember, it takes time to adjust. The first few weeks or months of retirement can feel strange. Be patient with yourself as you find your new rhythm. Challenge yourself to try new things. You might discover passions you never knew you had. Fear. My health will decline, and I won't be able to enjoy retirement. Facing it, health is a valid concern as we age, whether we're working or retired. Focus on what you can control: a healthy diet, regular exercise, even gentle, getting enough sleep, managing stress. Stay proactive with healthcare, regular checkups, screenings. Adapt your activities if needed. If you can no longer hike mountains, maybe you can enjoy beautiful walks in a park. A positive mindset also plays a big role in health. Fear. I'll lose my identity. Who am I if I'm not your profession? Facing it, our work often shapes our sense of self. Retirement is a chance to discover other parts of your identity. You are more than just your job title. You are a spouse, a parent, a grandparent, a friend, a neighbor, a volunteer, a learner, a creator. Think about your values. What's truly important to you? Find ways to live those values in retirement. This can be a journey of self-discovery. It might feel unsettling at first, but it can also be incredibly liberating. Fear. I'll be lonely and lose my social connections from work. Facing it, work is a big social hub for many. Be proactive about maintaining connections. Schedule lunches or coffees with former colleagues you want to stay in touch with. Actively seek out new social circles. Join clubs, classes, volunteer groups. Senior centers are wonderful for this. Nurture your existing friendships and family relationships. You'll likely have more time for them now. Facing these fears doesn't mean they'll magically disappear. But by acknowledging them, talking about them, and thinking about small, actionable steps you can take, you reduce their power. You show yourself that you are resourceful and resilient. And that's a wonderful feeling. Part 9. The You Decide Power, Embracing Your Choice. We've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? We've talked about what retirement can be, the pros and cons of retiring now or working longer, money, health, purpose, and even our fears. Now let's come back to that powerful little phrase in our title. You decide. This is, perhaps, the most important message of all. After all the thinking, all the exploring, all the talking, the ultimate decision rests with you. And there's incredible power in that. It's your life, your chapter. No one else is living your life. No one else knows your deepest desires, your unique circumstances, your personal definition of happiness. Friends, family, and even experts can offer advice and perspectives, and that can be helpful. But at the end of the day, you are the author of this next chapter. Reclaiming agency. Sometimes, life can feel like it's just happening to us. Especially when it comes to big things like work and aging. But by consciously engaging with this question, retire now or work forever? You are taking back control. You are being an active participant in shaping your future. There's no single, right, answer. What's right for your neighbor might be wrong for you. What worked for your parents might not work in today's world. The right answer is the one that aligns with your needs, your values, and your vision for a fulfilling life. The peace of mind that comes with a plan, even a loose one, even if your decision is to keep working for now, but aim to retire in X years. Or retire from my main job but find some enjoyable part-time work. Having made a conscious choice brings a sense of calm. It replaces uncertainty with intention. Embracing imperfection, your plan doesn't have to be perfect. Life changes. You might make a decision and then, a few years down the road, decide to adjust it. That's okay. The power lies in the process of thoughtful decision-making, not in getting it perfect on the first try. Trusting yourself, you have a lifetime of wisdom and experience. You've navigated challenges before. Trust your intuition, trust your ability to figure things out. So, when you see that phrase, you decide, I want you to feel a sense of empowerment, not pressure. It's an invitation to step into the driver's seat of your life. It's a reminder that you have options, you have strengths, and you have the ability to create a future that brings you contentment and joy, whatever that looks like for you. This isn't about a deadline. It's about a mindset. A mindset that says, I am going to think about this, I am going to explore my options, and I am going to make the best choice I can for myself. And that, my friends, is a very powerful way to approach the years ahead. Part 10. What if I choose to work longer, but not forever? Finding the middle ground. We've talked a lot about the two ends of the spectrum, retire now, or work forever. But for many people, the best path lies somewhere in the middle. Not everyone wants to stop working completely, but the idea of grinding away at the same old job indefinitely doesn't sound appealing either. This is where the idea of phased retirement, semi-retirement, or encore careers comes in. It's about finding a balance that works for you. Phased retirement. This is where you gradually reduce your work hours or responsibilities at your current job. Maybe you go from 5 days a week to 3. Or you step down from a management role to a less demanding one. This can be a great way to ease into retirement, both financially and emotionally. You still have some income, stay connected, but gain more free time. It requires a good conversation with your employer to see if this is an option. Part-time work in a new field. Retirement from your main career can be a chance to try something completely different, something you've always been interested in, but on a part-time basis. Love books? Maybe work a few hours a week at a library or bookstore. Good with your hands? Maybe some light handyman work or crafting. Enjoy being outdoors? Perhaps a part-time job at a garden center or a local park. The pay might not be what you were used to, but if it brings you joy and a little extra spending money, it can be a wonderful option. Encore careers or passion projects. This is about pursuing work that has deep personal meaning for you, often focused on giving back or making a difference. It could be starting a small nonprofit, becoming a consultant in your field but on your own terms, or dedicating significant time to a volunteer role that uses your professional skills. This isn't just about money, it's about purpose and impact. Freelancing or consulting. If you have valuable skills and experience, you might be able to offer them on a freelance or consulting basis. This gives you flexibility to choose your projects and set your own hours. You're the boss. It could be anything from writing and editing to accounting or IT support, depending on your background. The benefits of this middle ground. Continued income. Even a small amount of income can make a big difference to your retirement budget. Social engagement. Staying connected with people. Having a reason to get out of the house. Sense of purpose. Continuing to use your skills and contribute can be very fulfilling. Structure. Some people thrive on having a bit of structure in their week, even in retirement. Mental stimulation. Keeping your mind active and engaged. Gradual transition. It can be less of a shock than going from full-time work to full-time leisure overnight. So if either retire completely right now, nor work at my current job forever feels quite right, explore these middle ground options. It's all about finding that sweet spot, that combination of work and leisure that allows you to enjoy your later years to the fullest, on your own terms. Remember, you decide also means you can design a unique path that blends the best of both worlds. Conclusion. The journey is yours. What's your next small step? Well, we've certainly had a good long chat today, haven't we? We've journeyed through the idea of retire now or work forever, you decide. We've looked at what retirement can mean, the joys of more free time, the realities of needing or wanting to work longer. We've touched on money without fear, and talked about all the other important things like health, purpose, and connection that make life rich. We've faced some common worries and explored the power of making your own choices, even finding a path in between full retirement and full-time work. If there's one thing I hope you take away from our time together, it's this: you are not alone in thinking about these things, and you have more power and more options than you might realize. This isn't about finding one perfect, magical answer overnight. Life is a journey, and this phase of life is just another part of that wonderful adventure. It's about taking the time to think, to dream, to plan a little, and to make conscious choices that lead you towards a future that feels right for you. So, what now? I'm not going to tell you to rush out and make a huge decision today. But I would like to encourage you to take one small, gentle step. Maybe it's simply rereading a part of this chat that resonated with you. Maybe it's getting out that piece of paper and jotting down a few of those retirement dreams. Maybe it's deciding to have a conversation with your spouse or a trusted friend this week. Maybe it's looking up that information about Social Security you've been meaning to. Maybe it's just giving yourself permission to think about this without pressure. Whatever that one small step is, I encourage you to take it. Because every journey begins with a single step. And this journey, the journey towards a fulfilling later life, is one of the most important you'll ever take. Remember, the title is Retire Now or Work Forever, You Decide. Embrace that power. Own that choice. And know that whatever path you choose, if you choose it thoughtfully and with your own well-being in mind, it can be a wonderful one. Thank you for spending this time with me. I wish you all the very best as you think about your future and make the decisions that are right for you. Take care, be kind to yourself, and enjoy the journey ahead.